But what got you to, I mean, you talked about it a little bit, but like what really, like one day you were like, I am interested in energy. Like what made that choice for you? Like, did you always know that coming to college? Or was there a day at USC where you were like, this is it. This is what I'm doing?
I mean, I knew going in, I was like, all right, well, I've got these fundamental skill sets. I was like, I really like, chemistry, biology, and physics and everything else. I was like, oh, engineering, yeah, I'll go in engineering. Oh, I care about the environment. I'm from like, in the south end of Yellowstone. Like, yeah, I care about the environment. I'll be environmental engineering. I did some research. I thought it'd be cool. And then I was like, the more that I hear about like environmental engineering, the more that I learned about engineering, I was like, well, I don't know, all these problems of like, pollution, contaminants, a lot of them just come from, like pollution from energy. You got the coal-fired power plants, natural gas power plants, you have big cargo ships in the middle of the ocean burning like the super, super dense, thick fuel that just like spews up black smoke and everything else. And then I was like, all right, well, that's something that I was just kind of like unconsciously thinking about, had it in the back of my mind. And then when it really hit was, sophomore year, I step into, Dr. Sanders' class and I was like, wow, that's maybe the most interesting thing that I think I have learned in the last like decade of my life. And I was like, immediately, I was like magnetized to it. I was like, I couldn't think about anything else for like, like 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, this is my favorite thing ever. And, you sent me the text. I was like, all right, it's a sign from the universe. Like I got to listen or else I'm
Serendipitous is I think what we call that.
Serendipitous experience. Yeah. I would say it was full of serendipity.
That's pretty incredible. I think for me, it was when I was 15 and I went to like my native village, which is like a really, really small rural village in India. And I think it's like maybe as big as a USC. It's like you can walk from one corner to the other. And because it is so rural, they don't have a good standard of living. They do not have clean water. They have an open sanitation system. And there's like barely any electricity. It's extremely unreliable. And I was there for, I think, like 15, 20 days or something. And it hit me that, oh my God, like there's like a ton of villages like this all over the world. And that makes up for the majority population as well. So I just like wanted to do something about it. And I started talking to one of my teachers in high school. And we came across a system which could basically convert sewage into clean water and electricity. And that's where like it all stemmed from. It's like, okay, if you just have clean energy or if you have access to energy, all your problems solved. And that's exactly when I got interested in it and been pursuing it since.
Wow. Nice. You knew for a couple of years there. That's exactly what Louise was saying yesterday.
Yeah.
The standard of living.
Exactly.
Raise the standard of living through an abundance of energy. Yeah. That's powerful.
What about you, Mitch?
Yeah. When did you know? Yeah, because you said it was only last year or so, putting you on the spot.
Kind of, yeah.
Flipping the script.
So again, I'm civil engineering undergrad and mechanical engineering for my master's. So when I got here, I was also environmental engineering.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of environmental restoration, and I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. You may or may not have heard of it. It is a small town over in the corner of Pennsylvania. A couple things came out of there. And it's a post-industrial town, so a lot of coal mines. Like under my house alone, there are 4 crossing mine shafts. Because there's Penn State made a map of like all the mine shafts.
Yeah.
And you could see under my like the foundation of the
That's
house. Like,
ridiculous.
every house in Scranton has mines just rampant underneath it. So to give you context, and we're in a valley, rivers and streams running through it. So a lot of work I was passionate about in high school was sustainable environmental restoration, native plants and stuff like that. So I wanted to do something tangible. I've always wanted to build something and make something that's tangible and affects physical elements. And I guess now I would call that like deep tech. Like that's kind of what I want to go in now. But back then I had like an inkling of the idea. So I was like, okay, environmental engineering seems like it does that, correlates with everything I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah.
Got here and I made the switch to civil engineering because I got more interested in doing like infrastructure development, like that kind of physical stuff. And then I was exploring like construction and that side of things. Everything is very correlated, but it's like how specific do you want to go down that road? And then I joined Makers, which actually where Reeth and I know each other from. It's a great club. Shout out. Another Alexandra, who is on our board as well, is also from Makers, former president. So there's a couple of us that were there, and that's how we know each other on this great committee now. And the whole premise of Makers, just to give you the TLDR, is to make stuff, hence the name. It does its job. And my projects were always focused around sustainability. I did a solar panel project the one year, and I found myself being more likened to doing physical projects, deep tech, making something to interact with infrastructure and stuff like that. And so all the projects I did were based around energy for the 3 years, my 3 prior years. And I was like, I think this is the pyramid of you have infrastructure that is good for the environment, and there's physical technological developments that could be made, and you can actually make an impact here, and it lasts in this thing we call the built environment, which is all things related to buildings, transportation, anything. That's what civil engineers call built environment. And so I was like, I think energy is the way. And I joined the Association of Energy Engineers, the professional society, as a student member, and I got together with you guys, and here we are.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.